Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. This is going to be a comprehensive guide on how to level up your alternative characters as fast as possible. This is not going to be a guide for new players because for this guide to be as efficient as possible, you need to have access to Plagued Realms, which means you are going to have completed your story mode at least once. It is also very beneficial if you have access to certain unique weapons. It's not going to be mandatory, but it will definitely speed up your process by quite a margin. With that being said, let's get started in the process of setting up your build. And the first step to do that is to acquire yourself a
These
set
are my
of uh,
scissors. No, these are my scissors.
a set of
A customer.
a set of cloth armor. One way to do that is to buy
Fancy
yourself
clothes you have.
a set from the tailors. As you can see, you can buy yourself the cleric set. However, there are two issues with this route. One, the level requirement is 3, so you cannot wear this right off the bat. And second, the set is only available to you once per day. So if you don't have multiple realms, you're not going to be able to get it in one go in order to have enough of them to enchant them and have some plagued pieces out of your enchantment process. The only way for you would be to wait a whole day for a new set to come up, and that's not going to be efficient at all. My recommendation is to build your own set, and the set that I would recommend is the Farmer's set. The reason why I recommend the Farmer's set is because it's very inexpensive to build. If you look at the Cleric set, for example, you need special resources from Sirens in order to build them. You need Siren Claws, you need Siren Tails, and you also need Siren Skulls. And also, if you look at the jute, the other resources needed, you need linen for this. Linen is a tier 2 resource. However, if you look at the farmer's cap, you only need jute garments. Jute garments are processed from jute threads. These are a tier 1 resource and they are widely available as a drop throughout the world. And I am sure you have a lot of them sitting in your inventory. So for your helmet, you need 4. For your pants, you need 5. For your armor, you need 6. And for your gloves, you need 3. That puts you at about 18 pieces for the whole set. And you need to make 6 iterations of it. So we're looking at 108 pieces of jute garment. As long as you have 108 pieces of jute garment, you should be able to make 6 of each piece of armor. And I think 6 is the magic number when you're trying to enchant things. Usually when I take 6 pieces of the same thing to the enchanter, I get at least 1 or 2 pieces of plagued enchantments out of it. Sometimes if you're really unlucky, it might not happen, but in my experience, having 6 should be enough. So I'm going to go ahead and make 6 of each and clear up the inventory and see you back at the enchanter. Once you have your pieces, take him to the enchanter and get started with the enchanting process. You're going to need 50 copper per piece, so it's not going to leave a big dent in your pocket in that regards. And what you're looking for is a good baseline in your plagued enchantments. What I mean by that is you need to know which affixes are important. For this build and for this guide, we are looking at 3 very important affixes. One is focus gain. Well, the most important one is damage reduction. Then it's focus gain. Then it's um, healing. So as long as you have these 3, that they provide you with a really good baseline. Once you've identified which one of the plagued armor pieces has that good baseline, then you need to set yourself a reroll limit. Look at this as a gambling limit. You go to the casino and you'll set yourself $100, and after you've lost $100, you'll stop playing. For this particular video, I set a limit of 76 embers, and I'm going to go ahead and re-roll my best set and look for as many of the affixes that I mentioned. However, I will stop at 76 pieces spent. Once you have a little bit of an experience with this build, you'll realize that some of these affixes are not as important as the others. So I will be looking at the ones that I mentioned along with the unrepairable indestructible combo. This is very important for this build because you need your armor set to be at maximum efficiency. What I mean by that is that when you start to go out and start the leveling process, you're going to be facing enemies that are multiple levels above your level, and they will hit hard. And sometimes if you're missing 2 or 3% damage reduction, that means the difference between life and death. You have your potions running, you don't want to keep dying and going back and forth. You also don't want to keep going back and forth to get repairs. So indestructible and repairable combo is important if you can get it, but I would not spend too many embers on it. Focus on getting yourself the focus gain, damage reduction, and healing. Only after that, if you have embers left, then you can focus on getting unrepairable, indestructible combo. So that's the only important thing that I think needs to be said with regards to rerolling. And once you've done your rerolling, you need to go back to the enchanter and infuse your sets with diamonds. Diamonds are super important because once they're completely exalted, they will give you 10% experience boost for a total of 40% from your entire armor piece. As soon as you've had your gems infused, take your armor and go back to the tailor. And here you're going to try to level up your armor pieces as much as possible, as much as your resources permit you to do so. The leveling up for this particular piece is not going to be expensive either. You're going to need about, I think, 1 jute garment per level, right up to level 12. After that, I think it turns into 2 or 3, and then there's a linen piece added to that. And if you want to go higher than that, obviously you're going to have to use your torn resources. But again, make this decision based on how much resources you have available to you. Once that's done, take it back to the Watcher, and here you want to exalt your infusions first. That's the most important part. Then, after you've done your infusions, try to exalt your damage reduction affix. These are the two main ones that you want to be focusing on, depending on how much resources you have available to you. If you have enough to exalt the entire set, then by all means, go ahead and do so. If the set already has the affixes that you're looking for. I already have a complete set, which is no longer usable because the level requirements was changed on it. I will show you that set and I will show you the target affixes that I would call the perfect set. So let's go ahead and get our new character, go back to our inventory and set him up and take a look at the weapons, armors, and the rest of the setup for this build. All right, we are on our level 1 character now. The only thing I've done here is I've wired him some spending money, some pocket change in order to be able to set up his utility runes later. So let's go to my leveling up chest and look at how we're going to set him up. There are 2 ways to do this. If you have a sinew, this is going to be the best possible way. So I will show you the setup with the sinew, and then I will also give you some other options that you can take in order to set up your own build for this. However, you can basically set up whatever you have available to you based on level requirements. You are looking for any weapon that doesn't have level requirement, getting the highest amount of damage out of it. Why Sinew? Sinew has two very important properties. It has an incredible amount of lifesteal, which negates the need for you to fit it with lifesteal runes. And also, it gives you damage increase against enemies with low health. Thirdly, which I would actually say this is probably the key part of why this weapon is the best weapon for this choice, is the piercing spin rune. This is a rune that will knock down any enemy that you will encounter, from small mobs to large mobs, and it will also do a lot of stagger damage to bosses. It can interrupt some boss spells depending on what boss you're fighting, but piercing spin is what is the most important thing here. On top of that, it has a huge lunge animation when you charge up its attack. This will negate the need for you to run after enemies. If you knock an enemy down, you will just follow it up with a charge attack, and no matter where they are on the screen, you will reach them. You can also use this as means of dodging out of the way of other enemies if you're encountering a group of enemies. So first you go for Sinew. Then for your offhand, you either want to get a shield that's also going to give you increased physical damage, or you can go with the bow. Now, the bow choice is up to you. If you have a bow that has ice arrow on it, or if it has ice enchantment, it's very, very useful because you can use the ice enchantment to freeze characters from a distance and then attack them. So for the run that I will show you, I will be using the shield and the sinew, but know that you can change your shield to a bow. Your second option for weapons is going with a wand, and I would highly recommend going with the Hoarfrost sickle. This wand does not have level requirements as far as I know, so you can use it on a level 1 character, and it also has Ice Dart, which will help you freeze characters and shatter them. If you have problems with fighting them up front, this is a really good option. You can go with either Hoarfrost and a bow, or you can go with sinew, shield, or a bow. So these are your two options, and you will need to build them according to what you have available to you. Then we're gonna take our piece that we made. Let's go ahead and equip all these. Next, you want to choose your rings. For your rings, you definitely want to go with the golden band. This is going to give you the highest amount of experience gain. So in conjunction with the armor set that you made, this will give you 50% increase in experience gain. So you'll take that. Then you want to go with a jade ring. This is going to ensure that you will have enough stamina to attack as much as you want, and you are not going to be required to spend any amount of your leveling up points in your stamina. Next, you have a few choices. You can either go with feather ring. This is because if you use a feather ring with this setup, you will be at a lightweight category, which makes it a lot easier for you to dodge around and get out of the way. If you don't want to do that and you're confident in your abilities, you can either go with the stone tusk ring, or if you are using a bow, I would suggest you go with the band of calmness, especially if you're going with the bow and wand setup. Again, look for weapons that come already with ice infusion, or the second thing you want to look for is obviously gain health and gain focus on kill. I am going to go ahead and use the feather ring for now. However, I will take the stone tusk ring with me. Next, what you want to do is you want to get yourself a set of tools. This is because you can use these tools in order to gain some focus now, and that's very, very important. Then you obviously want to get yourself some experience potions, and if you are having a hard time with this build, I highly recommend using bombs. You can use these to pull enemies. This is if you don't have the right kind of bow with you and you're going with the sword and shield setup, you can use these to pull enemies away from their packs and deal with them one by one. I'm not going to take any of these with me, but know that these are options. Second, what you really need to do is you need to have some kind of what I would call focus food. These are foods that will give you instant focus, and they are usually made with one of the ingredients is usually fish. So what your options are the fish skewer, which is the cheapest one, then you have fish salad, and you can also use Angler's Delight. This is important because when you're just starting out, you want to have at least 50 focus on you for the first enemy that you will encounter. Piercing Spin uses only 50 focus. Once you use it on an enemy, you will have enough to you will have enough time to hit them with your sword and generate another 50 focus in order to redo it and just keep your enemy stun locked. But the first time you're starting out, it's beneficial if you don't want to don't want to get backstabs or anything of that sort. You can start off with focus food, and that will give you enough focus to knock out the enemy that you're fighting right off the bat. So let's we have everything we needed. I'm not going to take the food with me because I don't think I'll need it. The next step here is you're going to have to go to the Watcher, go to a house that's closest to the Watcher. And you're going to unlock some slots using your Plague Arc.
So this is the jewels.
So the Inquisition.
What takes precedence here is first your ring slots. So you definitely want to have 3 slots open. Then you want to have your utility runes open. And then if you have enough Ichor, you can open up your inventory slots first because you are going to be picking up a lot of stuff you want to sell them. And after that, just do whatever you want depending on how many Plague Ichors you have available. But if you don't have very many available, focus on getting all your 3 ring slots, followed by your utility runes, and then finish it off with your inventory slots. You can also spend some on hunger. I might as well just do that. At least get 1. Make sure you have enough food. And the last trip you're going to make back to the enchanter, I will show you the utility runes that I think are most useful here. And we will then switch to a realm that has
Only wanted to study the past.
Plague Outbreak available. And I'll show you exactly the route you need to take in order to start this level up process. So here
I felt the awe.
for your runes, obviously you want to take heal, comes already on the character. Next you want to have return. This is so that you can return as soon as possible and sell and be back on the road again. Then you want to take illuminate. This is because you might want to go into caves in order to take advantage of the mobs that spawn in there. And lastly, you want to go with damage surge if you have that available, which you should be able to buy it. And this completes your setup. So I will go ahead and switch the realm and see you in the realm when it's ready. Okay, so we're on a realm that has plagued outbreak everywhere. Our difficulty setting is also set to the path of unspoken because you also get more experience this way. Do not be intimidated. I will show you exactly how this works. I will go ahead and use a potion. And we have it. All you have to do is just walk outside of the sacrament wall, and most likely you will have a knight to deal with here. And that, and just look at that life steal. Now, piercing spin. And there you go. So immediately use your points to get more damage. And if you want, if to be a little bit safe, use them on health. If you're confident, use them on stamina. I'll use them on health for now. I don't want to die too many times on this video. And let's try to see if we can dead. Okay, let's try this one more time. And that's basically it. You just want to make sure you can get them as isolated as possible and reduce the amounts that you die. If I had a bow here, that would be easier. And when he does that, take advantage of that animation. And that's the combo. Once you get a little bit more stamina, it will be a lot easier. And the knights are obviously the hardest enemy to deal with. But it's doable. And just look at that life steal. I'm just gonna get some stamina points in here. Okay. Now you want to go through this pathway. You don't want to go all the way to the end because there's going to be a large one. You want to be at full focus before you want to deal with them. These little ones are not going to be a problem at all. It's only the large enemies and the shielded knights that are going to be a problem. Let's see if I can show you. There, you can do the spin. And when they get up, let's do the spin again. Wait for him to get up. Spin on him. Spin again. And if you get overwhelmed by another one, don't worry, your life steal will keep you up. Now, if the boss spawns, don't go for the boss because that's just going to be a waste of time and you will most likely die a few times, and that's just a waste of your potions. So anytime you see these large enemies, make sure you have enough focus to keep doing that, and don't, that's bad, always push them away from other mobs. And that's really all there is to it. I mean, probably for the rest of the video, I'm just going to speed it up. And just show you... Actually, let's go through a few of this together. I can just speed portions of it. This way I can actually show you the route. Basically, you want to clear the Orban Glades first. Just make your way to Mariner's Keep. And from there, go to Shallows. And by then, you should have enough levels and experience to determine where you want to go next. Now, these things can be the end of you. They are an absolute menace to deal with. So be really careful with the mosquitoes. One more thing to mention, you want to have your resistances at maximum level. This will give you the upper hand against the witches. I have experience. Yeah, I have some points here. Sorry. We'll put some in my stamina. And we're already level 10. Here, There will be a big one. Sometimes there will be two. Just... Oh my god, I messed up. This is what you want to do. You want to get them... Try to make the best use out of your piercing spin. And don't waste stamina on running after enemies. Always use your charge attack. $15 stamina should be enough. After that, put some points in focus so you can have a larger pool. And on each level, just continue using the bulk of your points into damage. If you're taking this route, you will have a large enemy here. You don't want to push him backwards. Pull him here. And then go around him. Push him further back that way because there will be enemies on the other side. If you push him in here, you could get crowded by these mobs here. See them? Yeah, I messed up all my focus there. 2 times. That should not have happened. So taking on a group of level 22 enemies when you're this low and on this difficulty can be punishing. But again, you should be fine. If I had not missed 2 of my spins over there, I got interrupted basically. That's one of the downsides of running this armor set, because you don't have a lot of poise. But with a little bit more of engagement control, you should be fine. Like single enemies like this, not a problem. Payback dog. Anybody else there? Now, one other thing you can do, you can always do this. And oh, we do have. Oh, I'm not even using my rings. Wow. Okay. I was wondering why I was having stamina problems. Oh, it could be at least a couple levels higher now if I had used my ring. Here there are sometimes a couple of these large ones. As long as you don't get overwhelmed by them, you should be fine. Hey! Again, ignore the boss spawns. You don't want to be fighting bosses right now. It's possible, and if you're confident, go ahead and do it. Sometimes the problem is some of these mobs can despawn when the boss comes out, depending on how close they are. I'm gonna give it a try. And I'm gonna die. So yeah, don't do that. Moral of the story: don't get cocky because you can get one-shotted. Well, two-shotted. That wasn't so bad. Get some focus here. Okay, now I'm salty, so don't do what I'm doing. Just go on with the clear. Just move on to the next area, which is the shallows. and make best use of your potions. Do not do this. Okay, third time's the charm. Wasting a whole minute on this isn't so bad. I haven't fought him in a long time, so I'm just gonna... Yeah, don't do this. It's a waste of resources. You want to come back here and get it to maximum pestilence level before you fight these bosses. So I was just salty and I wanted to kill him. And I wanted to die. So obviously I'm just not being very careful with this build. I suppose this serves as a good reminder that it is easy to die. But at the same time, don't do as I do, do as I say. Be careful, respect the fact that these enemies can kill you, and just keep continuing with your clears. And heck. Yeah, two of these things at the same time can be kind of problematic. So as you can see, with all these blunders, we are already at level 17, and oh, I didn't level up. Up to the next area now. Oh, another thing I mentioned. Remember this stutter step. Just attack 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't go 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can't do that stutter step, you can lock down enemies pretty easily. Okay, I had to stop the recording for a second. My dog came, needed something, but even with these guys, just drop them down. And as long as you time your attacks correctly, you should not be able to get up. It's all that focus gain that helps with this. You will have just enough focus in order to redo your piercing spin just as they get up. I didn't want to do that, but XP is XP. So all those resistances from the armor, cloth armor, along with your rings, will really pretty much nullify the absurd damage that witches can do. Here, sometimes there's a whole bunch of them over there. I guess not after the patch. I want to go in here. And this is why you pick your Illuminate rune. Walk into it. Ay, 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 ay. Ideally, you don't even want to waste time on doing these things. You just want to keep looking for mobs. But
The war is eternal.
And at this point, you either want to go to the mountain pass area, or you can go to the sewers. Mountain pass is more efficient in my mind. Sewers, navigating the sewers is going to be a little tricky, a little bit of a time waster. Mountain pass is a lot more straightforward. Oh, this is a good one. I'm actually going to be able to show you how to lock down large targets. And you can wait for him to get out. I could have just killed him, but... Dude, that keeps knocking them down. You can kill any enemy in the game with that combo. What happened to edge protection? Thomas! Yeah, one way you can take is straight through here. There should be a bunch of large enemies here. There's another one. Knock him down, hit him, knock him down, hit. You should have enough for another knockdown. That's basically it. Hit stuff for focus when you can. Oh, why is this door closed? Guess I haven't really explored the mountain pass in this particular realm. Maybe we can go to the cave here. So if you have a realm that is better explored than this is like one of the realms that I had made just to get to the plagued area. So there are a few areas that I have not explored, and there's a few shortcuts that I have not accessed here. If you do have that, you won't end up wasting so much time as I have. I don't think there are enemies that spawn here. Go up. That was intended. Just want to get out of here. So at this point, I think I can go to the lowlands. See how we fare. Just get a little bit of extra XP here. Wow. Little shit. And that's one issue with this setup. It's an issue that you can actually counter with getting the poise rune. Then they will not be able to do this. I also, at the end of the video when I do the recap, I will show you how I have circumvented this issue with the previous build. There are certain affixes that you can get on your pants and on your chest that gives you increased poise while you're charging. And that will totally negate the problems that you've seen with charging towards enemies and getting knocked out of your charge animation by their projectiles. So, running into enemies is a problem. Now up here, you might have problems if there is a bear.
but not these guys. The bears are probably one of the hardest enemies you can counter. I would avoid them if you can, but it's time to go back. I try not to push enemies off ledges, you get reduced XP. Could go into that cave, but there aren't enough enemies for the time you will spend, and you'll end up on the other side of the little island thingy. You're gonna have to spend a lot of time getting back up. No, I don't want to push him down. So this is right around the time where the XP gain curve is going to change, and you're not going to get as many level ups as you're used to. To counter that, you can increase the level of pestilence here. And if I have... Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that. There's about half of them left here. And the way you want to do that is you want to do it with sinews so that you don't end up getting too many hard counter affixes, I would call them. Movement speed is also very important in giving you the backstab opportunities when you're just starting out. So that's why I would recommend using the ring. I don't want to push them off the ledge and lose XP. Ah, you. I'm not gonna go back there. Okay, now I am kind of pissed off at that encounter. Let's just go to Narren Woods instead. I thought about going to Narren Woods, but then I realized I spent sinews in here and I'll get better XP here. Go back and kill them, be a little bit more careful. So with all the blunders and mishaps, we've made it to level 25. Again, if I was not dying as much, and I was a little bit more careful with the fights that I picked, I would still be left with a lot more time left on my potions. Probably be a couple level higher, especially since at the start I totally forgot to use the golden band.
Again, none of these are an excuse. I'm not sure if anybody will sit an hour through this and watch the whole thing, but I'll leave it up anyway in case somebody does. They can see what a sample experience will look like trying to run this. Hopefully this bridge is down. It is. Oh. I realized I had a garbage pickaxe.
Soon all will be quiet.
What gear do we have? Boss. It's Derek. Might be able to kill him with this setup. I haven't fought him in a while, but I don't see any better choice here. I have very little left on my built up my entire bar. See if we can get to the boss before this potion runs out. Oh no.
I think that's the best usage of my potions that I could come up with under the circumstances. So I'm going to switch over to the other realm and show you the armor pieces that I had mentioned at the beginning of the video, do a little recap for people who don't want to watch through the whole thing, and call the wrap up. All right, see you guys in a little bit. All right, we're back in our original realm, and we were able to hit the 25 level goal that we had set at the start of the video, despite many deaths that were the direct results of bad engagements and mistakes that I had made. We almost got close to level 26, and I don't think it's inconceivable that had I not made those mistakes and took boss fights where I shouldn't have, we wouldn't be a couple levels higher. But anyways, for a quick recap, let's quickly go through the optimal setup for the armor. What you want to have on your helmet, you want to have experience gained by 10%, healing increase, and damage taken decrease by up to 10%, stamina recovery based on durability, indestructible unrepairable combo. On our gloves, we want to have experience gain again, focus gain increase, healing increase, and damage taken reduction based on durability, indestructible unrepairable combo. On our pants, we have experience gain again, focus gain increase, damage taken decrease based on durability. You could either have healing based on durability or have something like gain 5% health on damage dodged and indestructible unrepairable combo. For your armor piece, you want to have experience gain again, focus gain based on durability, damage taken decrease based on durability. And if you take poise defense while charging, you will circumvent the issues that we had with mobs knocking us out of our charge animation with their ranged attacks, and finished off with indestructible unrepairable combo. For your weapons, one of the setups that you can use quite effectively, and I have explained all the details of how you would use this setup, it would be sinew paired up with either a shield or a bow, or alternatively, if you don't have sinew, you can go with a wand, namely Hoarfrost Sickle, which has no level requirements, and it will give you the option of freezing your enemies and shattering them with whatever bow you have available to you. Next point we made was to have some kind of focus food, which is usually based on the fish ingredients. Then for your rings, you want to have golden band, you want to have jade ring to have enough stamina to auto attack, and then you want to have feather ring to give you the movement speed that you need in order to be able to go around the enemies and backstab them at the start of the video. And obviously, if you want, you can take bombs and flasks with you in order to do some damage from the distance. And lastly, you want to have a realm that has plagued areas available to you, and you also want to have it on the path of an unspoken difficulty for added XP gains. That's it for the level up guide for your alternative characters. Hopefully you find this useful and are able to use it to your advantage. Thank you for watching, and see you again in the next video. Bye bye.